Hi, it's Josh Goldberg here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 common signs of toxic people. Now, it is important to keep in mind that this video is not talking about a person that makes occasional mistakes and does something that might be on this list of 10 things, and then they take accountability for what they did, and they recognize that they need to change this behavior. This is not a toxic person. A toxic person is going to have most, if not all, of these 10 behavioral signs, and they will be repeating patterns of behavior. Along with that, the toxic person doesn't take any accountability for their toxic behaviors, and they have no real desire to improve or change. If you have anything that you would like to add to this list, please share with us in the comments below, and be sure to watch the whole video. Key sign number 1 is flattery, compliments, love bombing, and no real emotional connection. At the start of a relationship and also throughout, a person should be trying to make an effort to get to know you as a person, understand your opinions and your emotions. The toxic person is not emotionally available, and they're actually in the relationship for their own secret agenda, so they will not be connecting to you in this way. Instead, the toxic person will try and flatter you, compliment you, bribe you with material and emotional perks, and this is how the toxic person gets you to be in a relationship with them because of these benefits. This idealization and love bombing can make a person feel loved and cared for when in fact it is only manipulation and there's no actual emotional connection or love in the relationship. Key sign number 2 is lies, twisting the truth, and gaslighting. When it serves the toxic person, they will lie about things, stretch the truth, and when you try and get them to take accountability for things that they did or said, they will gaslight you, which means that they will distort and alter the details of the thing that happened in the past, leaving you feeling frustrated and even confused. Key sign number 3 is misplaced emotions. All human beings have emotions, and we can understand the emotions of others based on our own emotional experiences. For example, I understand that you're feeling sad at the loss of your job. It is certainly understandable for you to be feeling that. I can see how the person would be feeling that. It makes sense, right? With the toxic person, however, you will experience some out-of-place emotions. For example, I am hurting and in pain. Why are you smiling and laughing? This is out of place. It is not normal human function to smile and laugh when someone else is experiencing pain and discomfort. Or another example of misplaced emotions. You get married to someone, and a week after moving in with them, you notice that they are deeply sad and depressed and bedridden. I actually experienced this one myself in a past marriage. We were married for 1 week, and the person is bedridden with sadness and depression. Getting married to someone is meant to be a happy occasion. This doesn't fit. Why are you depressed? This makes no sense. Now, this relationship very quickly became highly dysfunctional, and it became more evident over time that the person was very toxic, highly abusive, and I got away from that very quickly. So keep an eye out for misplaced emotions. It is telling you that something very unhealthy might be happening behind the scenes. Key sign number 4 is out of place behavior. All relationships have ups and downs, good times and challenges. Disagreements are a normal part of healthy relationships. The toxic person is really revealed in how they handle conflicts and disagreements, especially when things don't go their way. Slamming doors in the house, throwing things, name calling, tantrums, criticisms, silent treatment, stonewalling, being overly negative and spiteful are all common signs of the toxic person. This type of behavior is never acceptable. Conflicts and disagreements in a relationship should always be handled in a respectful and pleasant manner. Key sign number 5, different with you in private than they are in public. A person should have a consistent personality, whether they're with you in private or whether they are in public. The toxic person will often put on a righteous personality when they're in public around other people, and then when they're in private with you and no one else is watching, they will bring out their disrespectful behavior. This is not always the case though, as many toxic people will act obnoxiously towards you and others, whether they're in private or in public. Key sign number 6 is that they will cross your boundaries and they're manipulative. The toxic person doesn't take accountability for their own behavior, and they are very quick to blame others and to make excuses. Also, when it comes to getting things that they want, the toxic person is often quite manipulative, indirect, and disrespectful when it comes to things that they want to get from you, instead of being clear, respectful, and direct. The toxic person makes a lot of you statements and focuses on highlighting your problems and your mistakes. The toxic person will also make a lot of negative assumptions about you, They will interrupt you when you are speaking, and they won't show that they're making an effort to understand and to validate what you're saying. Key sign number 7 is a hot and cold personality. Because the toxic person has significant unresolved emotional issues, they can be acting nice and pleasant towards you one moment, and then in the next moment, they can turn to being obnoxious and disrespectful towards you for reasons that you're not even aware of. This will leave you feeling like you're walking on eggshells, confused, and highly anxious because you never know what person you're going to get. Remember, a person should always have a consistent personality. You should never be wondering what version of the person you're going to get today. This is a big red flag. Key sign number 8, they change the nature of the relationship without your consent. The toxic person will change the nature of the relationship into something that you haven't consented to. It should always be clear and consistent what the other person is wanting and needing from you in the relationship. The toxic person unexpectedly changes this and starts wanting things from you that are very different from the initial boundaries and nature of the relationship. This can leave you feeling confused, irritated, and even shocked. What? I didn't sign up for this. Key sign number 9 is that they will isolate you from other people. Out of fear of exposure, the toxic person doesn't want you talking to other people about what you're experiencing with them in the relationship. Also, the toxic person will try and cut you off from supportive people in your life because supportive people are highly likely to point out to you how badly the toxic person is treating you and encourage you to get away from them. The toxic person will try and isolate you from other people by trying to turn you against these other people, or perhaps turning these other people against you. They can even covertly punish you by taking away former benefits that the toxic person was giving you, or they can straight out be coercive, controlling, and threatening when you try and talk to other people. A healthy person will never have a problem with you being in contact with supportive people in your life. In fact, they will support it. So keep an eye out for the person who is trying to mess with your social life. It is a massive red flag. Key sign number 10 is questionable relationships with others. All relationships have a specific purpose and function. The reason for a relationship should always be clear. This is my friend. This is my boss. This is my neighbor. Okay, so I catch up with my friend for coffee, I see my boss at work, and I chat to my neighbor when I see him in the street. Now, with a toxic person, they will often have relationships that are out of place, and it is certainly not clear what the function is of the relationship. For example, the toxic person is telling you that this is a friend of theirs, and yet why are they leaving the house at midnight to talk to this friend in private? This is a highly questionable relationship. Or another example, you observe that they're spending time outside of work hours with their boss from work. This is not a professional relationship anymore. This is a highly questionable relationship. All healthy relationships need to have very clear and concise boundaries, and the toxic person has relationships with others that have very blurred and unclear boundaries. I hope these 10 key signs have been informative and helpful. Take care of yourself and stay gold.